oh, I saw this Kanye West stuff. You know, everybody's all on Kanye West. And he was talking about, you know, first of all, he's almost like a lab rat in a way. You know, he has that mental, you know, he shows up and he talks about mental health, and you can't tell sometimes where he's coming from. You know, he's caught up in that Kardashian universe, so you wonder like how much of that weird influence or how much of that influence is really just shaping him and, you know, or unshaping him. I mean, he obviously has some like Jesus complex at times. He's also been hailed like a messiah in some ways, a hero. You know, he has a musical genius and a creative genius, really. I think some people are just creative geniuses. Like I've said this about John Mayer before. I've met John Mayer a few times, and I've had some good conversations with him. And I think that John Mayer would have been a genius in anything he chose to do. It could have been painting. It could have been comedy. He would have excelled at it at the highest level. He just chose music. Some people have that. And maybe Kanye had that as well, or has that. But one of the things that they got on Kanye, or that, you know, a lot of people said about Kanye about is remarks about slavery, about looking at slavery as, you know, at a certain point that are people just enslaving themselves by, you know, by continuing to make that part of the discussion. And, you know, look, I mean, mostly he's talking about black slavery, you know, African-American slavery. And I don't know. I mean, from my perception, sometimes I'm like, you know, if we keep getting stuck on, if we keep reminding ourselves of only the negative parts, then, you know, is it possible to fully evolve? You know, it makes me think, I mean, I get scared saying some of this kind of stuff because, you know, I mean, you know, Kanye, the crazy thing about this is Kanye's not even allowed to think without being reprimanded so much in the public eye. Like, let the guy think. Let him, so, you know, oh, he's a genius, but the second he says something that people are like, ugh, or that the media is like, ugh, suddenly he's not a genius. He's crazy. You know, it's like, well, let him think. So what if he's wrong? Oh, at least he's braving an idea. You know, you don't, I mean, look, I could think, you know, I grew up in a white Southern environment. I could sit there and say I'm a fucking redneck and fuck this and, you know, and some of that shit I do say, but I don't let that be my whole story.